Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I've had a bit of a manic day today. I haven't been able to video until the afternoon because I've been so busy with blocks. So first things first, this is the 4.2 Jag. Goes with this little lot here. So as you can see, I've finished boring it, plus 20, hone that, we've faced the block. First thing in the morning, Isaac's going to get that on the stand. We're going to de-rust the outside and what have you. And we're going to give it a lick of paint, get the core plugs out, give it a thorough clean, the usual. And then that block is then ready to be painted and reassembled. John has ordered all the bits today. So we've got, what have we got? See, the cylinder head's all done. So we've got new chain kit and all the rest of it. Pistons, bearings, you know, the usual stuff really. So that one is going to be ready very soon to be put back together. Obviously we've got to clean the sun pop and the rocker covers and all that. But as soon as that one's done, this Jag here is for the same people, and that is going to be over in that bay, stripped, and do the same thing. I told you last video, or the video before, we've got the clutch coming. That should be here by Thursday. We're having the clutch redone. This is the 1500 pre-cross flow. We're having the clutch all redone because we're really struggling to find the clutch. Although I did have a subscriber get hold of me via email and say, I might be able to help you with that clutch. So I did email him back saying, thank you very much. If we need you, we will be in touch. But apart from that, once we've got the clutch and we get the crank assembly finished, balanced, we can put that thing back together. As you see, everything's laid out here. The heads for the V8 in the middle here, they're all done pretty much. Isaac is in the process. He's honed the block out from scratch, actually. He's done that. And the block is over there. So he's give this a good old clean up. He's going to give that a paint tomorrow. Everything's thoroughly clean, and we should have the crank assembly back maybe tomorrow, if not Thursday. The crank assembly is coming from CTM Performance, so that's going to be done. And then once we've got the crank assembly back, guys, it's Meccano for that engine. So really, we've got 3 engines here that possibly in the next couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, could be all done. Paul Dovey's in Wednesday and Thursday, tomorrow and Thursday, actually. I'm doing this video now, it's on Tuesday, so I have to think. You probably think by the time it goes out, what the hell am I on about? The MGB down here, the guy's been in today. He's bought us the oil filter housing, which we're just going to clean up and paint and whatever. We've got a new oil filter to go in there. We've just took it off the stand to get the back plate on, because that obviously holds the rear seal. And then we're going to get this thing full of oil, get the oil pressure up, make sure everything's all right. And then he's going to have that back. So hopefully by the end of tomorrow, he can have that one back. So yeah, we've got 4 engines here, guys, which potentially in the next 2-3 weeks are all going to be done, which is great news because, as I say, we've got that Jag to strip. This one here, we're still waiting for the crankshaft. That's the BMW. That's not going to be too much of an effort. And then we've got the we've got the Lotus there and the Renault V6. They've got to be done. But first of all, I think the main priority, this one here, this is the Mitsubishi Evo. He's got a set of pistons coming for that. Once the pistons arrive, I'll bore it, face it, head's all done, ported. These are all the bits here. So that's Meccano as well. That's going to go back. Whether he's going to put the head on or whether I got to do it, I don't know yet. We've got the Land Rover over there, that rusty heap. That has got to look like $1 million when it's all done. So I think that is one that once a bay is free, we're going to get on a stand and crack on with that one. So yeah, cracking on, guys. Sort of made a plan. Been a really busy week. Got a pallet full of cosy stuff here. I haven't even opened that. It's a waste of time at the minute. I haven't got any surface free. So yeah, really cracking on. Isaac out here cleaning. We haven't sent him out here in the sun, so don't accuse me of cruelty to our apprentices here. He's chose to do all the cleaning today, so he's cleaning the Jag 4.2 and the V8. We're going to be giving these a coat of paint soon. All right, mate? How you getting on in the heat? All right? I'm just telling everyone how I haven't made you come out here, mate. It's by your own choice, isn't it? Yeah, just before they accuse me of cruelty.
Yeah, it's all good.
I've got 3 little barrels from RKTV. So I'm just finishing boring the last one, and then that is their job out the way. But as you can see by this little lot here, sitting at the back of the workshop, we've got a little gap in the middle there. And what sat there was the Redtop Vauxhall. So I'll give Paul the job of stripping this. As you can see, he's got the rocker cover off and a few of the other bits. We stuck a socket and wrench on the end there, and it's not very easy to turn over. So what's happening with that, I don't know. I suspect because it's been sitting, the pistons are probably sort of seized in the bore a little bit. But he's going to rip this to bits. Say this one's been there for a while, so I think it's the first time we've done a complete red top, actually. We normally used to get the heads and that with these. There used to be I think there's an oil way in the head that used to corrode through, and you used to have to get it sleeved. But yeah, I used to see quite a lot of cylinder heads, but never a complete engine. So I'm quite looking forward to going through this. I think we're going to put tasty cams in and a few bits and bobs. But right, here's Paula. He's about to take the head off the Vauxhall, and as you can see,
got the
he's sporting a shirt.
Bearing Engines t-shirt.
In the medium.
Yeah. I've put it in the washer, it shrunks a bit.
Looking ripped.
So I look ripped, yeah.
Well done, mate. So what do you reckon under here?
Well, the engine's a bit rough to turn over, so I'm expecting to find potentially some rusty borers.
Rusty bores. Here we go. Oh. Oh, hello. Little bit of rust in number one there, mate.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah. No, it's not too bad.
Doesn't look disastrous, though.
Huge amount of lip there, actually. Well, it's going to be
huge amount of wear, but I suppose for how old it is.
Well, it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. John's keeping quiet because he knows he's on camera.
John's guest appearance. I think you'll be fine, mate.
Any real nasties?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
No, it's just rough.
Does it turn over now?
I'll have to get a socket for that. Okay. That wall pump's quite rough, that's why it doesn't help.
Yeah.
And if it can...
Oh, what the belt was on, was it?
Yeah, the belt was on.
Head face don't look too bad. Certainly ain't head gasket issues. Well, it turns all right now.
It's still a little bit notchy.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not ideal. No, that's horrible, that is.
It's not great.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
We'll get the sump off and see what we got. Yeah, maybe have a...
Like I say, the board doesn't look too bad. I was expecting a lot of rust around there, to be honest. I was expecting like seized up.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, well, mate, we'll soon see.
Yeah.
As far as the unit goes, still a work in progress with that. As I say, it's not going to be sorted probably until the end of this year, beginning of next year. But I am planning, I'm making a sort of a plan as we go. I've been in touch with a lighting company who may be helping us out. Told them all about the channel and what have you, so I'll be giving them a good shout out if they do us a deal on the hex lighting, you know, the hex LED lighting for above the engine build room. So that's going to look top notch. Probably get some flooring. Obviously, I've started pricing up benching and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's still going, guys. I shall keep you in the loop with that, but at the moment it's going to be a little bit of a slow sort of progress on getting this unit really. But in the meantime, we have another MGB down here, 1800. This one here is for a short engine build. He wants all the crank assembly checked and balanced. We're probably going to have to grind the crank on that. I'm just reboring it now he wants it plus 60, although the bores are at standard, shame really, but he wants it to go to 60 because this one's going to be a bit hot. He's got a nice Newman cam to go in there. As I say, all the crank assembly will be balanced, and then we've got to put it all together. We're waiting for neural pistons, which are probably going to be 2 or 3 weeks on that, as opposed to county. Nothing too wrong with county. It's just that, you remember I said in a few videos ago, we had a set of county pistons for that Healy. Weren't very good. So, not saying that they're all not, but we're just going to go for neurals. We know neurals are absolutely pucker. But they're going to be 2 or 3 weeks. So, yeah, that's another one in progress. We've got crank assemblies here on the go. We've got an Alpha one there for Bob Dove Motorsport. Isaac's going to do that one. That's next on the list. So, yeah, very eventful in here. Got plenty on the go. Oh, I'll show you this actually, look. John's periodically just sort of plodding through the crankshafts whenever he gets a spare hour. This is a big lorry crank. You see it's a 6 big end, 7 main. And what he's got in the middle here, this funny little setup, that is a steady. So on these big crankshafts, you get whip when you're doing the mains especially. So this is a steady here that John sets up on a main. Obviously, he does the 2 mains either side, then he sets the steady up on another main, clocks the centre and does the centre one. But that just stops any sort of whip of the crank, stops chatter. That is a must for these long 6-cylinder cranks. But yeah, quite interesting really. Right guys, I think we could have a bit of good news on the Golf GTI. So this is the Golf, if we just go back a couple of videos, this is the one that we've had the engine in. We stripped the engine with the intention of reconditioning it. When we got to it, the block, it spun a main, the block scrapped, so is the crank, so is one of the rods. So it's not easy to get one. We said, look, to be honest with you, we've priced a genuine engine up from Volkswagen and it's not too bad. It's pretty much going to work out by the time we've done it all completely and bought a block and that. It's similar sort of money, so you may as well buy a genuine engine. So we've subbed the car out to a garage that we always deal with, top-notch garage, Clover Cars. Clover finished it, runs absolutely perfect, took it on a test drive, no issues whatsoever, sounds lovely and all the rest of it. But occasionally, probably 50% of the time on idle, it will throw up a low oil pressure light. This is the red light on the dash, you know, stop immediately. So we put a manual gauge in there and I think it's supposed to be about a bar or something on idle oil pressure when it's hot, but it's down to about 5 psi. So it's got us all scratching our heads. So we thought, seeing as it's a Volkswagen engine, we'll send it over the road to Barnstable VW and get them to have a look at it. So they've run through all the sensors, all the wiring, all this. They're convinced it's not a wiring issue or anything like that. So it's got to be something mechanical. So they said to me yesterday, they rang up and said, do you want us to start getting in amongst, you know, all the bits in the engine? And I said, well, let me just have a word with Clover, because I'll sort of recap on what we've done and what potentially it could be external to the actual engine. So I spoke to Tim yesterday, and Tim, he said, well, I don't know really, but it's one of those where if we give Volkswagen the job to get in amongst it, and it turns out something that Clover may have missed, or, you know, accidents do happen, then obviously someone's going to have the bill. So Tim's gone away, he rang me back about half hour later and he said, I think we may have found the problem. He bought a new oil filter housing from TPS, and when they came to him, he said it was very slightly different in design. So he's rang them up and said, look, is this the correct one for the vehicle? They said, yeah, the other one superseded, this is the one you've got to fit. Right, so he's put it on. And then yesterday when I rang him, he went back, had a look at the old filter housing. He said behind where it goes onto the engine, it looks, in fairness to him, it looks like a core plug, but when you actually prise that out, it's a little valve in there. So he's rang TPS and said, look, this valve that comes with it, does that come in your new filter housing? And he said no. So it looks like it may be a valve missing. So Tim's ordered a brand new one from them. They stock them, they're on the shelf. He's going to have the car back, he's going to take the filter housing off, fit this and see if it cures the problem. My feeling is it will do, which would be great. So fingers crossed guys, we've found the problem with that. But yeah, it just goes to show anything can be missed, and the amount of these that you do, you know, all these engines now, you're always learning all the time. So yeah, like I say, fingers crossed on that. So I've been out in the kit car today. We have got another track day down in Perranporth booked for the 8th of September. That is a week before I get married. So I haven't broke it to my missus yet. Hopefully she's going to be all right with that if we get everything sorted in time. But yeah, we got another track day down there. We'd really hoped to have got some more track days done this summer, but we just haven't had the time, to be honest with you. I've been busy at weekends, we're busy at work. You know, I've had a couple of opportunities to go in the week. A lot of the decent tracks are weekend, you know, they don't do the weekends, which is very difficult for us because I just can't afford to take a day off as much as I'd like a jolly. We're just too busy in here sorting everything out. So we've got a track day booked for this on the 8th, hopefully. but we've got a few things to sort out. I've been out in this today, and I noticed the diff or the prop or something that sounds a bit more knocky at the back, so I'm gonna have to check everything there. I notice in the underneath this panel, I've got to get that panel off, but I've noticed there's a bit of diff oil that's leaked out of there. So we did rebuild the diff. Well, not rebuild it, but we sort of cleaned it up, painted it and put new seals in. But that front seal's leaking like a sieve, so I don't know what's happening there. And the diff's a bit clonky. Whether it's because the oil's leaked out, I don't know. But it's a Granada diff. It's not an LSD, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip that diff out and have a look in there. Maybe stick another diff in if it needs it. But apart from that, I think we're just going to give it an oil change, the engine. Oh, what I have noticed is those socks that are put on the air, you know, the Piper Cross socks are put on the carbs. This thing does not like revving since I've had them on. Now, I've been round to Tom Island at Islands Motorcycles, and he said you must soak them because obviously they're going to be drawing in way too much air. I have done that, but it still seems to be a bit hesitant. So whether it's running a bit lean. So I think what I'm going to do is take them off. I'm going to stick that other air filter thing on that we've got. I'm going to make sure, you know, sort it all out, stick that on because it did run really good with that on. And, you know, and go from there really. But yeah, I don't want to run the risk of doing a track day and it running sort of too lean. So I'm just going to put that back on. But yeah, apart from that, give it a run over and that'll be good to go, hopefully. Well, thanks ever so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we will see you in another one. Cheers.